ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the Geico restarts up we go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
The Lincoln Tech fall season keeps rolling right along as we reach the start of our fall stretch. And race 5 of the Invets Xfinity Series closes out our 5th week of competition right here, right now, on V-Speed. Before we get into that, let's talk about our lovely sponsors that are helping us put this together for you tonight. Invets, building strong futures for Indiana veterans. Lincoln Tech, put your potential to work. And Save 22. Struggling? Let's talk. For everyone here at V-Speed, I'm Jacob Lenke. Here alongside me is Ken Huber. We've got Eddie Smith in the production booth and the talented Dougie Beard providing tonight's cameras.
Well, it's great to have you back in the booth here, Jacob. You missed some exciting racing over the past, at least last week. So it's great to have you back here at Road Course Racing in the Xfinity car. And since we're here at Watkins Glen, why don't we talk about the track? So this track is very historic. The Watkins Glen NASCAR configuration is a 2.45 mile short course featuring a chicane, also known as the bus stop, on the backstretch. This configuration was added after the 1991 death of racer J.D. McDuffie to improve safety and reduce speeds. NASCAR does not use the full 3.4 mile road course with the boot section as it lacks sufficient safety infrastructure for this series. Watkins Glen history began in 1948 with a 6.6 mile street course in an attempt to bring European-style road racing to America. The town's public streets were used until a fatal accident in 1952 that led to a ban of the street racing, prompting the creation of a permanent track on private land starting in 1956. The permanent Watkins Glen International track opened on a hill near the original site, which hosts events today, including the NASCAR Cup Series and the Xfinity Series here at Goat Locker that we're going to be watching tonight.
Yes, sir. Quite the history lesson from you there. And we're looking forward to an excellent race tonight. Let's take a look at the race information for tonight. We got four sets of tires for everybody running tonight. 40 laps. Pit road speed is going to be your 40 miles an hour. Local cautions only. That's going to be a big one for everybody running. There's going to be cars spinning. There's going to be people trying to make moves, go around, going off track, and iRacing's not going to call those for caution. So we're going to see everybody get a little bit strung out. 100% fuel and the iRacing fixed setup on top of that.
Yeah, Jacob, you mentioned the field getting strung out. That's kind of one of the goals. These stock cars are going to be slipping and sliding around. I had a chance to do some testing in this car. I'm not quite as fast as McWhorter and Whitley were during practice. We'll see how they qualify, but I still had some pretty good speed. I can tell you that the pit window is going to be about 28 to 30 laps. However, that being said, these guys are going to be screaming for tires. So I imagine that we'll see most drivers come in at the halfway point, get those tires, get the thing filled up to make it the rest of the way.
Yep, and you want to make sure that you get your stop like right on the money of where you want, because if you set a heater right after you get those tires, it's going to offset whatever disadvantage you're going to get from falling behind taking that pit stop. As we watch Brock Price make a loop out of turn one on their out lap for the start there. Now we're on board with Brandon Wallace. Why don't you take us on a lap around the track, Ken?
Yeah, so we're going up the S's. This is 2, 3, and 4 going up the hill here, and you got to be really careful getting on the throttle, especially here coming out of 4. The car wants to get a little loose. You can see him there counter steer as he's headed down to the bus stop, which is a great passing opportunity. He's going to be hard on the brakes here, get it down to second gear as he rolls through the bus stop here, trying to get as close to that grass as possible, try to straighten that corner out. And here you got the outer chicane. So they're going through the outer chicane here. This is another tricky spot on exit. You got to be very careful getting back on the throttle. You can swing the car out wide as he does here. You can see Brandon Wallace get out wide there, which is, I don't know, that pavement was added here a few years ago. And then you go into the final couple of corners here. He's back down in third gear. Going to probably bring it down to second for the final corner. Again, being very easy on the throttle coming around the corner and getting up to speed. And now he's going to head down the front stretch. Now the front stretch obviously goes downhill. It's another great passing opportunity. As you can see, this car will dip downhill, very difficult braking zone, but this is where a lot of passing attempts are going to happen, especially at the start of the race.
Keyword attempt, as we're probably going to see some people overcook it and maybe take a few more cars out with them piling into turn one there, especially on the start.
While we're watching these cars get qualifying in, why don't we talk about the schedule? You'd mentioned that we're the 5th race in. So Watkins, Glen currently. Next week we're at Charlotte, so we're back on the ovals pretty much for the rest of the season. Charlotte is another one of those great tracks. A lot of fun. We're having a pretty killer season. We've had 3 separate race winners out of the 4 races so far. Our last week's winner at Milwaukee was McWhorter, and so McWhorter's looking to capitalize tonight, see if he can get a second win tonight. Our only other duplicate race winner has been Jonathan Cofield, but Jonathan Cofield, at least during practice, is barely getting into the top 10. So, maybe he'll be able to find some speed during qualifying and get up the chart a little bit. But we got quite a great schedule coming up. One of my favorites, Pocono and Dover, later on this season. Looking forward to that.
Yep, 2.5 miles with Charlotte and Kansas coming up, and then Pocono is going to be a wild card for sure.
Yeah, Pocono is great for those road racers. I think, again, being that I'm so fond of road racing, just seeing Pocono on the schedule gets me excited.
Yep, and it's going to provide ample opportunity for a lot of these other excellent drivers in this series to show what they're capable of, trying to get around and get some good points on the leaders up top.
Yeah, well, at least, one thing that these guys aren't going to have to worry about is rain. So the stock cars in iRacing haven't been equipped for rain yet, thankfully, as we're looking at who all we have onboard cameras with tonight. So there's our list of drivers there. So we'll be able to see the challenges and the sweat rolling down their foreheads tonight as they try to get these stock cars manhandled around this course.
Yep, and interestingly enough, we've got a foot cam courtesy of Lucas Lyons to show us quite possibly how the pedals are going to work around here. We'll have to hop on board with him. There he gives a wave to us. We'll have to hop on board with him during one of the like the longer green flag runs and see how he gets along with that.
It looks like his cats or something has found missing socks or something, mismatched socks. At least we're not looking at his toenails. So, but anyway, we'll be able to watch Lucas Lyons on that foot cam and seeing how he's getting around this place.
Yes, sir. Tyler Rice, Chuck Pegleg-Phelps, Ryzen Baker, Mark Whitley, Wyatt Dooling, and Daniel Parks all providing their cameras for us tonight. So we'll be able to get some good perspectives on the drivers that are going to be running around here tonight.
Something I want to talk about why we got a chance here is Save 22. So we've got a little bit of time here before qualifying is complete, but I do want to mention one of our sponsors, Save 22, a great organization supporting veterans and first responders. Save 22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Our unwavering mission extends to four critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate. Save 22. And it's great being part of Goat Locker Racing, where we have such a big community of veterans that support each other, and Save 22 undoubtedly is a big part of that.
Yes, sir. And along with that, we've got a fundraiser coming up as well. October the 8th, we got a ARCA race, 100 laps at Las Vegas. Sort of putting on sort of a charity race for Goat Locker. We're going to be giving away some prizes. There's going to be a raffle put together as well. The $10 for entry into the qualifying races on the 6th and 7th. And then entry into the main is, if you win the qualifying races, the entry into the main is free from that point on. So everybody head on to goatlockerracing.org. Check out the information for that. Hope to see everybody show up and show out for the qualifying races, and we're going to put on a heck of a show for the main event. I know I'm going to be participating in it. A lot of the other high profile, like the higher winners, are going to be in there as well. Jeremy Gardner, Mark Whitley, a lot of it's an all-star race of sorts, and can't wait to get everything put together and put on a good show for everybody.
Well, Jacob, maybe you and I can get in there. Even Eddie, maybe we can get our producer in there. We can get everybody in there and maybe steal one from one of these guys, from one of these very fast drivers that are going to be in this charity race. But yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Las Vegas in the ARCA car, it should be an absolute blast.
Yes, sir. Well, we're getting on toward the end of qualifying here, and I got to be honest, I had some high hopes on seeing somebody else up at the top. We do have another name up at the top, but the name that is showing out and is showing up to me like top of the leaderboard once again in the Xfinity in the Invets Xfinity series is going to be your Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner once again this season. It's a man who needs no introduction. The 77 of Mark Whitley beating the rest of the field by 0.6 of a second. Ryzen Baker starting on the outside, or the inside rather, in the number 70 machine. Followed by Joseph McWhorter in the 72. The 61 of Duncan Foss starts in P4. Barrett Morton in the 9 and Lucas Lyons in the 17 round out your third row. Wesley Burke in the 04 with Craig Bontrager in 8th position. And then Brandon Wallace and Rob Kubat round out your top 10.
Starting in 11th will be Jamie Lipke, and on her outside will be Tyler Rice. Starting in 13th will be Jonathan Cofield, two-time winner so far in this series, and then Kyle Deering will be on his outside starting in 14th. Wyatt Dooling will start in 15th with Casey Jones on his outside. In 17th will be Chad Ashley with Dave Calvert starting on his outside. Daniel Parks will start 19th with Kevin Price starting in 20th.
Scotty Yancey takes home the 21st position in qualifying. Aaron Yancey in 2nd. Doug Ellingson in the 23rd position in the 58. Colton Sisk in 24th. Zachary Tucker in the 25th position did not take a time. Stephen Davis lines up next to them. Chuck Felds, Nick Reed, Brock Price, and Claire Sisk round out your top 30 car field for this event tonight. Looks like none of them took a time either. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Whitley here. Is it just going to be like we've seen before on some of these other road courses, or the races that we've seen people try to get a difficult handle on? Is he just going to walk away with this one, or is Ryzen Baker going to potentially challenge for this win?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Mark Whitley has been strong all season. Obviously, McWhorter, Ryzen Baker up there is going to be sharp. But I got to say, Mark Whitley putting a 12-second time, 12.5 second, 1 minute point 12.5. That's going to be hard to keep a race pace going like that because he's going to burn off the tires. Anyway, we have a short parade lap, and we're about to go green there, Jacob.
Pace car is going to pull into pit lane here, and we go up the go board. We are rolling. Green flag at Watkins Glen.
And you can see Whitley trying to defend, but he's got McWhorter down on the inside there trying to get a position. They're 3 wide going into turn 1. That's going to send Ryzen Baker out to the outside. Ryzen Baker might be, they're still 3 wide going into turn 2 here, going up the hill through the S's. Ryzen Baker trying to get that car settled in, and he'll hold on to third.
Almost getting it together, 3 wide through the S's. Whitley getting overtaken by McWhorter, going Whitley wide, getting into the grass, going up toward the bus stop as everybody starts to slow down. Back it down. Whitley gets into the back of McWhorter, gets over the curbs, and now he's under attack by Ryzen Baker.
Yeah, that's some crazy racing right now. Watching McWhorter pull away from those guys. 2 teammates battling it out. It was I'm sure he just wanted to get that position before the tires started wearing, but just behind him, there's a huge battle going back there. It looks like Duncan Faw, they're just for third there. Ryzen Baker's trying to get that position back from McWhorter.
Yep, Barrett Morton even sticking a nose in there, trying to get between these two to get to the second position. You got Lucas Lyons in there battling with Duncan Faw, and you got Wesley Burke, Craig Bontrager, Brandon Wallace, and Rob Kubat still in position, rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, I think these guys are trying to grab positions while these tires are fresh. And you can see going into turn 1, Whitley down there on the inside of that 9 car of Barrett Morton. Barrett Morton really wide out there. And
Both
it looks
Morton...
it looks like that 77 car was able to complete that pass and keep that position.
Yep. Ryzen Baker was super wide out there as well. I thought that might have been a little bit more of a runoff than they needed to take, but they stretch out to the solid second position over Mark Whitley as everybody gets back through the bus stop once again.
So it looks like they finally got that settled out. Man, that 77 car back there, Whitley, just totally sideways, just driving the wheels off that thing, trying to get back by Ryzen Baker here. But as they head down the backstretch here, got a couple more corners before they get onto the front stretch and see if he can get into that braking zone and make a pass here. But I think that's going to require Ryzen Baker to make a mistake. But Whitley just driving the wheels off that car.
70 of Baker, you're watching them get the nose pointed before they get into the corner, roll it out, and then get onto the straightaway carrying that momentum. Mark Whitley driving like a bat out of hell, trying to get back up to that back bumper as Joseph McWhorter is almost to a 2-second lead.
Yeah, these two guys battling it out has allowed McWhorter to get that lead. We're still riding along with Whitley here as they're swinging out really wide as they go through the S's here and back up the hill. I think Whitley has settled down a little bit. Now he's going to have to wait for Ryzen Baker to make a mistake. But Ryzen Baker strong, qualified second, currently running in second, was able to fight back to get second after that crazy start.
Ryzen Baker fighting with one of the dominant forces that we've seen in Goat Locker for some time. Super aggressive lines taken over the curbs by Mark Whitley, trying to get a look into the inside of this turn. Out through the outer loop, and Ryzen Baker looks like they're holding them off for now.
Yeah, Whitley is trying to stretch out that bus stop and trying to make it as straight line as possible. He's got that rubber band just stretched out tight and got that Camaro just all kinds of sideways going through there. And he settles back down and go through the final couple of corners. Really wide here in turn 10 as they go into 11. Can't quite get the inside advantage there. He's going to have to make another attempt.
It pushes it a little too wide, loses more of that momentum, and Ryzen Baker's able to stretch out to about a 3-car length lead.
And I'm sure Ryzen is able to breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. As you can see, the 2x2 just behind him. It looks like that's Lucas Lyons and Barrett Morton just behind him. Looks like they got that battle sorted out. You can see the 9 car. I think the 9 car gave up that position here. Now the 9 is under pressure here from the 61 of Duncan Faw.
Yep, you got the Bandits guys going 4 and 5 right now. Duncan Faw trying to go forward on Morton as we got Ryzen Baker under attack from Mark Whitley once again into the bus stop. Baker not going to defend right now as it's a little bit dangerous to try and go for that sideways over the curbs as Ryzen Baker relents a spot to Mark Whitley.
Yeah, these guys are going to start feeling these tires start to give up on them a little bit now that they got 4 or 5 laps on it. As we look back here at Barrett Morton in that 9 car, that black car, just behind him, Duncan Faw gets totally sideways coming out of that corner. And as they head into turn 9 up here, and looks like he's got that Toyota back under control.
Yeah, speaking of getting them heated, that's definitely not what you want to do out of that corner. Oh, a little bit of a lockup from the 9 of Barrett Morton that might open up an opportunity for Duncan Faw on the front stretch, because we're going to go on board with Lucas Lyons to get a look at the pedaling here. Off the gas, onto the brake, a couple of downshifts. It sounds like he goes down to first there, gets back on the gas, picks it back up, going up into the S's, upshift, and we're slow, like we're keeping the gas in it. We're not like full bore through the S's. We're pushing it up through, making sure that we're keeping it nice and smooth. Don't want to over rotate. Don't want to cook the tires coming up out of there. And then we get hard on the brakes once again toward the bus stop. Downshifts, left across the curbs, and then back right, going back down to the outer loop. Just keeping the throttle in there, just a little bit of brake, just rotating it along with that curb. Don't touch the curb, it'll unsettle the car. Back on the gas through the exit of the turn, and into the long sweeping left-hander, backing it down a little bit further as we get back onto the front stretch, making that exit, and then we go back towards the start-finish line, where we're going to take lap 6.
I want you to notice something there. We were just on Lucas Lyons. We're still looking at his car here, but when we had the foot cam, when he goes by here and you can see the curbs kind of match his socks. Look right there. Look at that curve. I'm sorry, but he's got perfectly matching socks to Watkins Glen. I did not realize that, but way to go there, Lucas. Way to support Watkins Glen.
Matches his car too, because he's got the Red Bull all over the front as well, trying a little bit of Connor Zillage, a little bit of SVG, as we got a car that is in the pits now. That is Stefan Davis in the 09. We'll go back and take a look at what happened there. And it looks like they're up exiting towards the back end of the track here. Just cooks it a little bit too hard on entry, gets it saved, and then loops it. Oh, nails the attenuator.
Yeah, that's what you call drinking your own bathwater right there, man. That's a tough break for that 09 car. As we're back into the racing action here, as we got a couple cars. Looks like we got the 9 car Barrett Morton and the 61 car Duncan Faw just behind him here. Duncan Faw still looking for a way around. He's in that green and black car. Oh, and he gets a little sideways on the exit of the final turn, and he's going to have some pressure just behind him, and that's Wesley Burke.
Yep, Wesley Burke continuing to try and put pressure on them. It looks as though that they've got a car in between them, the 58 of Doug Ellingson that everybody just got past, as lap traffic is going to start becoming a much heavier factor as we get later on into this race. Cars trying to navigate, trying to give the space and relent to the drivers that are fighting for position, trying to make their way around them. Doug doing a great job of letting everybody by there. As we're back focused on this battle once again, Wesley Burke right on the tailgate of Duncan Faw as we go back through the bus stop onto the outer loop. Barrett Morton wanting these two to fight a little more so he can get back to getting to the back end of Lucas Lyons.
Yeah, Barrett Morton, like you said, just hoping that these guys start battling, but I don't think that's the case, and it looks like Duncan Faw is starting to close back in on Barrett Morton as they go through the final couple of corners here. We'll see if Duncan can get any run off the final turn here. This is turn 11 as they go by pit lane. You can see some gravel on the track. Oh, man, this is commentator's curse right now. Every time we talk about him, guy spins that Toyota sideways, man, but he's hanging on to it, headed down into turn 1.
Took a little too much curb, and that's going to present an opportunity for Wesley Burke maybe to put a nose in there when they get up toward the S's. Oh.
Wow, he is wheeling that 61 Toyota around this track as they head up towards the S's here. But he has got a mirror full of Wesley Burke just behind him in that 04, that purple car, trying to get that position taken away from him. You can see that Camaro just behind him as we look out the back window of Duncan Faw.
Yep, this is the battle for the 6th position. Wesley Burke taking a little bit more of an aggressive line through here as we're watching him close up toward the through the inner loop. Burke getting a little bit more of a run on the outer loop, taking a narrower line, trying to get a better exit as Duncan Faw shoots it as we head towards the towards the exit of the. Yep.
So we're back. We're still watching the 61. So I was just looking at the YouTube chat here, and David Cunningham just gets in there and he says, Lucas needs lights on his feet there so he can watch him work the action on those pedals. So I don't know with those bright color socks, so it might be pretty blinding.
No, I don't want to look at Lucas's feet more than I have to, but we got a battle for the lead here between Joseph McWhorter. Mark Whitley has gotten back to within half a second of the 72 car.
And this is one of the things I talked about at the top of the broadcast with McWhorter running such fast lap times that, you end up maybe wearing out too much tire. And not to mention how fast Whitley just is. And Whitley was able to run it down, just wheeling and dealing that car. We got a battle for the lead with these two teammates as they go through the backside carousel here, coming back up for turns 9 and 10. And they'll get there, and it looks like Whitley isn't going to have the run that he needs. You can see how wide that Whitley's able to spring out on that corner nowadays. As we go into 9, or excuse me, this is 10, turn 10. Next turn is turn 11. And we'll see if he hangs this thing out here and can get a run on his teammate of McWhorter.
Whitley still trying to get back to the back end of McWhorter. Has got it down to 0.4 of a second now. And I have a question. Is it still, even though the outer loop exits into the small boot, is the outer loop is still turn 5, would the second to last and the last corner going onto the start-finish line be turns 6 and 7 then?
Possibly. Now you got me thinking as I'm watching this battle for the lead. I know there's 11 turns, and they don't count the bus stop with turns. So the final turn is turn 11. And that's about the best way I can describe that. As we got the battle headed into the bus stop, we know Whitley is really charged it in here through the past few races, right all over the back bumper of his teammate. And I don't think there's any love lost because these guys were bumping into each other at the start of this race. As they come down the backside here, swings it out wide, headed towards turn 10 here. And it doesn't look like he has anything for him just yet. We'll see how wide he goes on the exit of this turn.
You couldn't have fit a piece of paper between McWhorter and Whitley through the bus stop section as they get around the 12. That's Claire Sisk. The 72 using him as a little bit of a pick to get a bit of a gap over Whitley. Whitley's still staying to the back end. Might be looking for a move into turn 1.
Yeah, and we're a quarter way into this thing. Couldn't quite get into that braking zone. McWhorter super strong there. And it seems like this is where McWhorter is the strongest until they get back to the bus stop where Whitley is just sending it every time into the bus stop. We'll see what he does here as they go up the hill. Head up the hill. We'll see if he can get alongside. Not quite. He got a little bit on that curb. That swings him out wide. And I thought he was going to duck to the inside, but he isn't close enough to make this happen right just yet.
Yep, just sitting in the 72's wake, looking for what line they're taking, going narrower, trying to get as much of that curve as they possibly can. And now we're going into the carousel here, rounding it a little bit further down toward that curve, trying to get up to the back end of the 72. Narrow exit, 72 having to go back further out wide as the 77 makes chase.
One of these guys will have to consider their pit stops coming up here in about, if they're timing their tires just about right, they'll be pitting in about 8 or 9 laps. And so these guys are going at it really hard. So you got to wonder, it looks like Whitley wants to get by, get some distance on his teammate, and maybe make that pit stop more productive for him. And that's probably why he's racing so hard. Is we got lap traffic. Chuck Phelps is the next car, about to go a lap down, currently running in the 22nd position. You can see that lap car just ahead of him. As we got a slow car in the S's, another lap car there. I'm just looking. That looks like that might be that was Doug Ellingson. Yeah, Doug Ellingson. Oh, and another slow car just ahead of these guys, Aaron Yancey now. So really dealing with some really slow cars going through the S's there, but he was able to hang on to that lead.
Yep, both of our leaders able to safely navigate the 58 and 75. The two lap cars very graciously giving their positions up as Whitley is pushing the 72 through the bus stop into the outer loop, still bumper banging the front bumper of the 77, nearly pushing the 72 off track there.
It's unbelievable how Whitley is running this Camaro tonight. Just just all over the place, and he's still super fast. You would think that those tires would be giving up on him, but every time he goes through a corner, it seems like that car is stepping out on him. Is Aaron Yancey just lets these two guys by, which is a very cool thing to do as they head down the front stretch here. So Whitley might look into the braking zone here, but nope, nothing doing as they go into turn one. He'll stay behind his teammate here and try to look for another spot to get this done.
If these guys are so close, we got to go to the helicopter to try and get a good angle on the battle these two have been having all this time. 77 cuts back, takes a lot more of that curve than the 72 does. Maybe a little bit of a brush of the wall there going up through the top of the S's, exiting turn 4. Onto the back straightaway, the 77 tucks in behind the 72, and we're doing it all over again into the bus stop.
Yeah, it's rinse and repeat every lap, and you can see Whitley going through the grass. Man, he's just sticking that Camaro anywhere he can find an opening on that 72, and he just can't quite get there. And sticking that bumper on the rear bumper of his teammate there, anything he can do to get by McWhorter. He gets a little sideways or lost some momentum and dropped back a car length or two, so he'll have to gather it back up, cool those tires down. He's right back going into turn 10 here, and still not quite there. We'll see what we do after we go through turn 11. Wow, he hung out the rear end on corner entry there, and right stuck to the back bumper of that car.
77 still taking that narrower line with as much curb as he can manage without hitting the wall. Trying to get to the back end of the 72. A little bit of a look into turn 1. Clips the curb. These two straighten it out again, once again, as we go back toward the S's.
You know, it looks to me like McWhorter is just trying to run a solid, you know, keeping that car as straight as possible. We're kind of driving it like a road course veteran. And then you got Whitley behind him just doing everything possible. You just see two different complete driving styles here at Watkins Glen. And you can see Whitley is falling back a little bit, but Whitley hanging it out there, and his teammate in front of him just he's just doing everything he can to defend that position and driving as smooth as he can. As we are, let's see, we're 14 laps into it, so we're still looking at about 6 laps away from a pit stop.
Yep, McWhorter pushing the back end a little bit further out wider there, trying to keep his lines consistent and as clean as he possibly can. Whitley still running aggressive, trying to get back up to the back bumper of the 72. We got another car that's going to be slow on the front stretch for these guys. They might catch him before turn 1. That's going to be that'll be the 80 of Kevin Price. Nope, that's the 18 of Colton Sisk.
Yeah, Colton Sisk there. You can see him just in front of him, going to go to the outside. Oh, McWhorter hard on the brakes there, trying to find a way around. The 18 gets out of the way and lets these two guys battle it out. That lets Whitley run him back. Look at Whitley hanging that thing out still on what's now pretty much old tires. He's just sideways through every corner as they go through the S's. Doesn't quite have the run. We'll see if he can pull up any draft here as they head into the bus stop. Whitley always swings out wide here and then tries to tuck back to the inside. Can't do it just yet.
He is pushing this thing to its limit right now. These tires are probably screaming at him, stop, give us a break, as he pushes, like he goes all the way up onto the curb just to get to the back bumper of the 72. It looks like he's going to run him completely over, but he backs it off just in time to get up there, trying to psych McWhorter out so that he can make that move for the lead.
Well, you know, one other thing I noticed, when you see two guys battling like this, and I don't know, it looks like they're battling, but I'm also starting to wonder if Whitley is just, that's the way he's driving the car. Because usually when you have two guys battling this hard in the race, they start backing up. And it's, you know, I'm looking at the third place guy who started in second, Ryzen Baker. Ryzen Baker is now 10 seconds behind these two guys. So while these two guys have been duking it out, Ryzen Baker has been out there pretty much by himself and hasn't been able to run these two down.
Yep, just solo driving, taking care of the tires, maybe working a little bit of a strategy as these two have been pushing so hard, trying to get each other, like trying to get past each other. Ryzen Baker might have been pushing it a little bit easier, trying to get a little, like, put as little effort into this run as possible, as we see the 77 back off a little bit as we got lap cars going under the bus stop.
Yeah, Scotty Yancey gets out of the way, jumps out of the way for these guys going through the bus stop, but it does slow these guys down just a little bit. It got Kevin Price just ahead of these two, so the next lap car will be Kevin Price, currently the last car on the lead lap, as we got Lucas Lyons making his pit stop.
Yep, he's our first taker for the lead group that we've been looking at. I'm sure we're going to have some more after everybody gets that word. He is going to exit out what looks like he is going to be rolling off in P12 after exiting. He's going to be fighting through Kyle Deering on those old tires.
Yeah, and this is one of the things. So they're in. There's another car in pit lane, but it looks like it's to fix damage. But coming in this early, you're going to put. You can definitely make it on fuel, but you're going to put some extra laps on your tires compared to when everybody else pits. It could be a good strategy call if he comes out and doesn't have to deal with too much traffic. But I see he's in a little bit of traffic now with some cars ahead of him. I think the next car that's ahead of him would be Kyle Deering. So as we watch Wesley Burke head to pit lane and get that car serviced.
0-4 having a massive battle with the 61 of Duncan Fall. You're going to relent that one as we are still waiting for more cars to take a look at possibly making their pit stop closer to that window. Like you said, we're going to have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to pushing through this window. I don't know if people are going to have to start saving toward the end of their run at the end here, or what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think they'll have to save on fuel, but tires, the longer you can stay out on tires is the best thing to do, in my opinion anyway. If they can make it to the halfway point, we're looking at the 25th position. Jonathan Cofield looks at a replay here of something that happened to him. He gets off in the sand, overcooks the runway entrance there, and ends up in the sand and tows it to pit lane after he got stuck there.
It looks like he might have had some sort of issue like you have in Formula One, where they're stop the car, stop it somewhere on track. Don't push it further than it needs to, because it's already to a point where it's going to be very expensive to fix. He's got 2 wins in the bank. He doesn't need to push any further to try and put any more of this at risk. At least until we get to the lap car trying to get out of the way of the leaders, clips the wall on the inside as Mark Whitley tries to make another run on the 72.
Yeah, and Mark Whitley, all kinds of sideways. Got a lot of rear bias, it looks like, in that Camaro. But all kinds of sideways going into the bus stop. These 2 guys get back to single file, but they're obviously in the host of lap traffic right now. I'm just looking. That's Brock Price just ahead of them. That they're going to have to contend with, and they're just about to the halfway point. As we're looking at Duncan Fall, another one of our top 10 guys going in to get that Toyota Camry, or I guess they're Supras nowadays, but the Toyota Supra, getting that thing serviced and back out on the track.
Duncan Fall going to be exiting in the 13th position, going to be going for Wyatt Dooling here shortly, trying to get past on the fresher tires that they just come up on. You don't want to push them too hard because they're still cold, as it looks like Dooling's probably going to start relenting here as the 61 tries to pass on the outside, getting up toward the bus stop.
Man, another nail biter for our leaders. You can see Joseph McWhorter getting by that lap traffic. As we're looking at Wyatt Dooling, his onboard camera as he's wheeling his car around this track in that 51 Toyota. As we go through the outer loop here, or the outer carousel is what I like to call it, coming up here to the backside, headed towards turn 10 here. Looks nice and calm there from his perspective. That wheel's not doing a lot of moving here. Talking to his teammate, it looks like nice and smooth on the wheel here. Doesn't look like not a lot of counter steering, so just driving that car really smooth.
Yep, just take care of it and get it home at the end of the day. That's all you can really ask for. Craig Bontrager, another one of our takers on pit road. Looks like he's pulling into his pit. He's got nose damage from something. I can only imagine what, but he's been up in the top 10 for a majority of this thing. So it hasn't really. It doesn't look to have affected him too much. As we got our leaders in, we got a wreck on the front stretch, just out of frame.
That was the 54.
That's
the 54 car, Chad Ashley. Yeah, wow, what a tough hit back there as we were watching our leaders head to pit lane. He immediately tows that Toyota pit lane, but our leaders are now headed to their pit box. As we look at the replay there, Chad Ashley hard in the outside, then the inside wall, just playing ping pong there on the front stretch.
Yep, unfortunate exit of turn 11 for Chad Ashley ends up putting them in the outside and then the inner wall. As we're looking at dueling pit stops from the 72 and 77, it's going to be close at the stripe. The 72 is going to make the good exit, and we're going to have a drag race as soon as we get out of the pit lane. They're going to be exiting in lap traffic. Ryzen Baker inherits the lead of the race for now, at least until they make their pit stop, and they're going to be praying that the lap traffic that these guys run into is going to hold them up long enough to get that deficit down.
Wow, now you can see McWhorter just hanging that car out there on those cold tires there, trying to get away from his teammate as they head into the bus stop here. Now that we're past the halfway in this race, we'll see if his teammate Whitley can do anything with him this time. As you can see, Whitley just behind him as they're up on more lap traffic here. And they're going to have to contend with these guys as they're going around. It looks like, I want to say that was Jamie Limke. No, that was Scotty Yancey.
You know, Scotty Yancey, they got around with the nose damage in the 0-3, and now they're fighting, but they're fighting to get around the 0-6 of Tyler Rice in the 22nd spot. Whitley with a long slide to try and hit the exit. Looks like Rice might be trying to go to the pit lane this time. Whitley with the wide exit, trying to get back to the back end of McWhorter, but nothing doing.
Around the outside, going by that lap car there as they head down into turn 1. These guys have been locked in this duel for this entire race. We are lap 21 of 40, and you can see there he goes again. Whitley hanging it out there on the outside there. This is a battle probably for the lead after Ryzen Baker makes his pit stop. Ryzen Baker was, I think, of around 11 seconds behind these guys when the pit cycle started. So the only thing I can say about Ryzen is he's given up time on the track the longer he stays out on those old tires, while these guys are out here running on fresh.
Well, these guys seem to have cycled to the front of the field after the pit cycle has completed. They are currently 12 seconds ahead of Ryzen Baker as they have taken their pit stop, and they have exited the pit lane in third on the freshest tires in the field.
And they're getting ready to go into the final couple of turns here. You can see McWhorter and Whitley. This battle's still going on. Ryzen's still out on the track, hasn't made his pit stop yet. So this is the battle for second, which will be for the lead. As they go into turn 11 here, Whitley just behind his teammate here, just keeping it nice and clean. That's why I'm wondering if this isn't by design.
It's got to be. These two have consistently been at the front of every event that we have put on, that they have entered, and it is always putting on a show that I'm sure a lot of people are loving watching. It's the 77 and 72 show in almost every series that we run in. I know the 77's been taking the Truck Series by storm. 72's been winning an ARCA all the time. 77 Mark Whitley. 72 Joseph McWhorter, every day, in and out, all throughout Goat Locker. These two have been taking this place by storm, and there is no different in the Sunday series, especially tonight with what we're watching right now.
Yeah, and you can see just Whitley glued all over the back of McWhorter here as they go through the carousel and down on the backside of this track. And still, Whitley is going to hold that position. News update, though, with Ryzen Baker. He did make his pit stop, so this is now the battle for the lead again. Ryzen Baker had a pretty solid stop, it looks like, and is only 13 seconds behind these two.
Yep, only 13 seconds, and they're currently 3 seconds ahead of Lucas Lyons. That's for the final podium spot. The next car is 23 seconds back of the leader. That's Duncan Faw. Kyle Deering is running in 6th. He's 30 seconds off the pace. Rob Kubat in 7th, 35 seconds behind. Daniel Parks in the 71 going on 40 seconds. Brandon Wallace is 43 seconds back of Joseph McWhorter. And Jamie Libke in the 16 car is going on a minute behind the leader as we run right now.
Well, Barrett Morton, who qualified in 5th, that's the next lap car that they're about to put down. So Barrett Morton, just a few seconds ahead of him, about 7 seconds ahead of him. Barrett Morton had a black flag for something. Not sure what it was, whether it was cutting the course or maybe it was a meatball flag, but got a black flag. And you can see Barrett Morton now is in danger of going a lap down as we're almost 3/4 away into this race as we watch these two guys still go at it and just check out and dominate the field right now.
Yep, Joseph McWhorter stretching out to about a 4/10 of a second lead on the 77 of Mark Whitley. Whitley looking to try and take a narrower line through turn 10, going on to turn 11, try and get some momentum going onto the front straightaway, but I think it's going to be the same breakaway we've seen time and time again from Joseph McWhorter.
Yeah, you can just see just ahead of them in the camera views, we're looking at another battle here going through the bus stop here. A couple other guys, another battle on the track. That looks like that is looks like Kubat and Parks. So that's the 71 of Daniel Parks, just behind Rob Kubat, ahead of him there as they go through the carousel. As we look on board with Daniel Parks, get around this track, going down the backside right after the carousel, headed down to turn 10. we'll see if he's got as much control as our last driver as we watch him to see if he steps his car out a little bit. Nice and clean, not a whole lot of counter steering there as he heads into the final turn. So just keeping that car nice and smooth as we're looking at Daniel Parks here.
Keeps it nice and smooth, getting on starting lap number 24 on their end. And something of note, the 50 of Kyle Deering, the 71 of Daniel Parks, who we're riding on right now, the 12 of Claire Sisk, and the 58 of Doug Ellingson have not pitted yet. Is this some level of strategy that could net them on those fresher tires toward the end a few more positions?
Yeah, that very well could be. We're watching that 71 come up the hill right now. Daniel Parks has got a chaser right now. I want to say that's Brandon Wallace just behind him. So Brandon Wallace looking. We haven't talked about Brandon Wallace in the 99 as we look on board his view there and his sim rig as they go through the bus stop. Brandon Wallace looking to get this position taken away. And this is the battle for 8th right now as they just got through the bus stop, headed into the carousel here. And as they round it, we'll see who goes wide, who goes low. And it looks like Wallace is going to take a little bit of an inside lane there, try to get on the inside as they head towards 10, and nothing doing though.
Wallace has 21 lap fresher tires than Daniel Parks, so I'm sure he can get around him if he wants to. Probably just waiting for the 71 to make his pit stop to make it easy.
Yeah, 71 is just stretching that mile out. I'm actually surprised that Brandon hasn't gone by him as old as those tires are. But I'm not out there racing, so I don't get a feel what these guys are feeling right now in these Xfinity cars. But I know in the past, these tires, after 20 laps, you want it to change them. As the 71 got a little loose getting into one, that's going to allow Brandon Wallace to come right up to his back bumper there. Got a little sideways on the brakes there, maybe a little too much bias from those old tires there. Going up the hill through the S's, looks like Wallace is taking a deep breath there going, oh, that was close.
Yep, just waiting until there is a clear-cut information that he's getting from Daniel Parks here as he looks like he starts braking a little early into getting toward the bus stop. Brandon Wallace trying to get around the 71 there, and crisis averted as the 71 is passed for position. That is P8.
That was some good racing, actually. Those guys were very respectful racing around each other. It could have been very ugly going into the bus stop like that, but those guys gave each other a wide berth. Brendan Wallace obviously has a faster car right now and was able to get that position as we look back here at another race. We're looking at Chuck Pegleg Phelps back here as we ride on board with the Gunman as he goes through the carousel.
Yep, he's going through the outer loop right now, chasing down the 20 of Aaron Yancey. This is the battle for 18th place. Chuck's somebody that we have talked about a lot in Goat Locker. He has always been a firm supporter of the mission. He's never afraid to stand up for the guys that are kind of getting a little bit too choppy and soapbox or in the server proper. So hats off to him. Always good to see him in that Marine machine rolling around the racetrack.
While we're on Chuck Phelps here, the one interesting thing is these guys, Chuck Phelps and Aaron Yancey, who he's racing just in front of him there in that 20 car. Both these guys are 2 laps down, but the racing is still on, right? So, you end up 2 laps down and you still got somebody to race. That's pretty cool right there. So right now, Chuck Phelps looking ahead of him there at Aaron Yancey's back bumper, see if he can run him down. And Aaron having a solid night too, even though this is the battle for 18th.
Yep, every position is points at the end of the day in this Xfinity series as we roll on here as we're looking at him, getting a good look at that the black and gray Marpat through the bus stop, the Save 22 on the hood, U.S. Marines on the side with that 75.
Hey, since we're talking about our veterans, I think we have a new Sim Rig recipient and a new Warrior Spotlight. Jacob?
Yes, sir. Here's to our latest Warrior Spotlight and the 12th SimReg recipient from Goat Locker, John Lawless. John served in the United States Air Force for 22 years as a hydraulic maintainer. He completed 5 deployments to Korea, Iraq, Sicily, and Turkey. He worked on multiple platforms like the U-2S, HH-60G, and HC-130J. We are proud to have John as a member of the GLR family. I think he has taken very well to the community as well.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him on the track out here once he gets all set up. as we've got another battle here. It looks like that's the 04 Wesley Burke. Jamie Lipke just ahead of him there in that Toyota. So Wesley Burke in the purple Camaro as we ride on board here, trying to get a pass done on Jamie Lipke. You can see just ahead. This position is for 9th as they head down the backside, headed into turn 10. See if Wesley can make any kind of move here on Jamie. The thing about it is Wesley Burke has given up 3 positions from his starting position. He looked really strong at the start of the race and has slipped back over the course of time here. And now you can see him all over the back of Jamie Lipke.
I wouldn't necessarily say they slipped back. They might have lost a little bit of ground from just everybody running on the pit strategy before the pit cycle started, came out, and everybody's kind of like shuffled around since then. They've been up in that back end of the top 10 for a majority of this race. They started around the 7th position. They're currently fighting for the 8th position right now. Jamie Lipke getting a little bit of a run, getting up toward the exit of the S's toward the back straight here. And it looks like the 04 is going to try and make a move on the outside through the bus stop. Might not work out. Looks like Lipke's just going to surrender the position. 04 gets a position gain.
Yeah, that's just good heads-up racing right there. So Jamie Lipke doing the kind thing and knowing that 04 is a little bit faster just to let him go and not create an incident. So good heads-up driving for both those guys. Now see if the 4 can make up any other positions here. The next car that he's looking at is Brandon Wallace, but he's got quite a bit of time to catch up to Brandon.
And a few cars in between them as well as we're taking a closer look at this other battle. Chuck Phelps has gotten to the back end of Aaron Yancey here, going through the outer loop here towards the exit, the longer straightaway towards the turn 10 toward the front straight, as Chuck Phelps is trying to plan out and figure where he's going to want to make this move.
Yeah, you can see to the Save 22 car trying everything he can to just get around Aaron here, but we'll see as we look at Wyatt Dooling here in 15th, coming out on track, going through the carousel. There must have been an incident here. Yeah, he did. Wyatt Dooling gets sideways going through the bus stop here. I think we're looking at it right now. I bet that rear end locks up on him as he comes into the corner here, flips the first curb. Oh no, he just gets up on that curb and sends the rear end of that car around. But no harm, no foul, just a little bit of hot tires.
Yep, gets it looped back around, gets it back going, and we are back. We are still running green, running clean. Everybody's still making up as much ground as they can on this long run. Yeah,
Yancey just ahead of Chuck Phelps there. Chuck Phelps has also got a car behind him. I want to say that is Ryzen Baker, who Ryzen Baker just blows through the center of the bus stop. Not sure what happened there. That's our 3rd place guy right now. Oh yeah, that's what happened. So he has to stop. He has to do a stop and go there because he blew the bus stop. So that's what's going on. So Ryzen Baker sitting in 3rd. You can see what happened here. He didn't have the corner entry trying to get around Chuck Phelps. Blew that through the bus stop. Has to do a stop there to keep from getting black flag, and then he can restart, and that'll prevent him from going into pit lane and serving a penalty.
Yep, they backed it down a little they backed it down a little more than Baker was expecting, and that relents the 3rd position to Lucas Lyons as they get back going. We've had a position change in the top 3.
And Lucas Lyons, that's what he wanted to see in his multicolored socks there that we're currently looking at. That's great timing that camera came up there as we're looking at the curbs and his socks. I can't tell which is which as they come through turn 1. Lucas is wanting to stretch out a little bit over Ryzen Baker. Ryzen Baker wants to get that position back. I'm sure he wants to get back on the podium tonight. They go up through the S's here. I have a feeling that this battle is far from over, even though we are only 10 to go.
If I am Ryzen Baker, I am pushing as hard as I can because I am furious that a pair of socks passed me for 3rd.
Yeah, and Lucas Lyons having a solid night. Lucas Lyons has been solid every week. We seem to always end up with the cameras on him, so he's doing something right out there in these Xfinity cars. But as we ride on board with Ryzen Baker, trying to get that 3rd position taken back from Lucas Lyons as they head down towards turn 10 here. Turns 10 and 11. We'll see what kind of line Ryzen takes through here. A little bit lower line, and we'll see if he'll back up this corner a little bit, try to get the run off, but he's on the outside. Yeah, doesn't quite have it. So it looks like Lucas Lyons doing a good job at defending, but he's going to jump on the outside as they go down to turn 1. So it'll be interesting if Ryzen can take that outside away, and it looks like he's got the advantage at the moment. So give that, oh, he goes really wide. Lucas Lyons back down on the inside. So Lucas Lyons, they're going side by side through the S's right now.
Yep, Ryzen carried major momentum through the exit at turn 11, carried it all the way down the front straightaway, but because of Lucas's position on the inside of the corner, Ryzen had to push it out wide, and that gives Lucas the position going in toward the bus stop.
Yeah, you can see now Ryzen down on the grass. He's going to take the outside lane going into the bus stop here, but he's going to give that up. You know, we got 9 laps to go, so he's got a lot of time. He might not want to push it. Oh, there's an accident in front of him with the 20 car. Spins out right in front of this battle for 3rd place.
Yep, that's Chuck Feltz and Aaron Yancey. The 20 car was around there. Chuck Feltz ended up going through the grass. I wonder if those two made contact.
Yeah, it's possible. We're still watching this great battle here with Ryzen Baker doing everything he can. He actually looks like Whitley right now behind his teammate, the way he's throwing that car. Oh, he gets in the back of Lucas.
Sends him.
Gives him a shove, saying, hey, I want this position back, dude. I'm faster. I'm going to take the outside here. As they go through the final corner, he does have the position made.
Yep, Ryzen Baker taking the position by force, and it looks like Lucas Lyons has a little bit of rear end damage.
Yeah, and I imagine Ryzen Baker might have a little bit of front end damage on that Ford Mustang right now. As it looks like he's able to gap Lucas Lyons just a little bit as they head up towards the S's, and it just shows how much faster Ryzen Baker is, and that's why he wanted that position.
Yep, Lucas Lyons pushing those socks to the limit to try and get back to the back bumper. I wonder if he's going to want to make a little bit of a statement of his own for Ryzen Baker here.
Or maybe he just wanted to hear something on the soapbox tonight or something. I don't know. Maybe Ryzen wants to see what that soapbox looks like, you know. But he got that position, and I think, you know, one of the other things when you're road racing, sometimes you're running behind somebody and you're trying to gauge where they're going to break in zones. And if they break a little bit early, you don't intentionally get into the back of them. It's just you're trying hard to make a pass. And maybe Lucas was trying to defend and broke a little early as we're looking on board with Rice right now.
Yep, this is the 06 of Tyler Rice running in the 18th position, trying to track down the 75 of Chuck Feltz as he's fallen back a little bit because of the contact with the 20 car earlier. Aaron Yancey trying to pick it back up to get back to the back end of the 06. But we're running steady right now. We're getting on. We're getting toward 6 laps to go right now. Those leaders have crossed the start-finish line. Tyler Rice trying to track down the 75 for that 17th spot.
Yeah, and we're now on our leader. Joseph McWhorter did open up almost a second on his teammate Mark Wickley just behind him. So I don't know if that was lap traffic or he's actually found some speed in that Chevy Camaro up there trying to run away from his teammate. But so far it looks like Whitley is actually reeling him back in just a little bit, just 7/10 behind now as they go through the final corner here and down the front stretch. Still got lots of lap cars that they're going to be dealing with. So the next car up in front of them is going to be Colton Sisk. So Colton Sisk and Brandon Wallace up there in 7th. So we've got only 8 cars on the lead lap right at the moment.
Yep, that.
Excuse me, 7 cars.
Yep, as Wesley Burke has just gone a lap down. 77 of Mark Whitley trying to track down McWhorter once again. Colton Sisk having been passed a few times in this one. It's good practice getting through here and having to lay off for the leaders here, just making sure that you're in a position that's not going to cause them any more headache. Just running your own race, make sure that these guys are able to run theirs. They're going to be super aggressive. You're wanting to make sure that you're not like throwing a wrench in anybody's day at this point.
Well, it's getting close to go time. Next time by, they'll have 5 laps to go. So if Whitley's got anything for McWhorter, you know, now's the time. Got Brandon Wallace just ahead of him, he's seen in the camera view. So Brandon Wallace in danger of going a lap down. That's our 7th place sitter. So Brandon Wallace having a good night, but he hasn't been able to keep ahead of these guys so far, or not yet anyway, because Brandon Wallace is about to go a lap down, and Brandon Wallace is no slouch out here tonight.
Whitley's still pushing this thing as hard as he possibly can. Saw him sawing on that wheel, exiting turn 11. Is in contact. The 72 gets hit by the 77 of Mark Whitley. Whitley backs off. It looks like the 72 might have some rear end damage from that. We'll see how that affects the aero going through the rest of the turns.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell. I thought he just got sideways and maybe I slipped, but yeah, if he got into the back of him, both those cars could have a little bit of damage. But as they head down through the bus stop, so Whitley says it's go time now, and you can see him close up here as they go through the bus stop. We're looking out the back of McWhorter's machine here as Whitley again getting right on the back bumper as they go into the carousel. Just, it's getting nuts out here, folks.
It is go time. Mark Whitley up to the back bumper of Joseph McWhorter as we have started this powder keg all over again. We're getting down through the back straight towards turn 10. McWhorter backing it down. We're looking at the front end of Mark Whitley getting closer and closer, making contact once again, trying to get through these corners. Turn 11 back to the front stretch as we are going to 4 to go.
Yeah, and you can see the lap traffic. Whitley in the wall. So Whitley slaps the wall with the left side of that car, so flattens out that left side as they go into turn 1. Hard on the brakes here, was able to save that 77, but you got to wonder if there's even more damage on that Camaro now.
Yep, I don't doubt that there's going to be a little bit of nicks and scrapes. It looks like he's running just fine as a 77, almost pushing the 72 up through the S's. He makes contact with the back bumper, trying to unsettle McWhorter as we get up toward the back straight in the bus stop.
It's almost like they want the TV time tonight because they are putting on a show. I do see the damage now on the back of McWhorter's car. One thing that is unusual for me to say is Whitley hasn't won a race in this series this season, which is unusual. So Whitley's hungry, and we talk about Whitley being in victory lane quite a bit. So Whitley's hungry, and I'm sure he would like to get this win on the road course, but he's got his teammate that he's going to have to deal with. But it looks like he's, if he has to, he's going to manhandle him towards the end of this race.
McWhorter is locked in. He's got his win. He doesn't need to push any harder than he needs to. Whitley probably going to make it in on points, but I wouldn't be too certain about that. Mark Whitley is acting like he is on the bubble trying to get himself in, and it is the last attempt that he has. He's pushing as hard as he possibly can on McWhorter right now as we go into turn 1, trying to back it down, not pushing as hard as he could before, rotating harder to the outside as we go up through the S's.
So they're going up through the S's. They got the lap car, Brandon Wallace, just ahead of him there. They'll probably get to him right before the bus stop here. We'll see if Brandon lets him go. Brandon Wallace is in 7th place, so that's how fast these guys have been going. You can see him close in on Brandon Wallace. I think Whitley took a look to see if he can use Brandon as a pick, but just was not close enough as they go through the bus stop here and headed towards the carousel.
An overhead look of the bus stop and the outer loop as Brandon Wallace relents, lets the faster 2 cars push through as we've got 6 cars left on the lead lap. Wesley Burke making their way through on Brandon Wallace as well there. That's a position change for 7th.
Yeah, and the next lap car ahead of these 2 guys is that 6th place position of Rob Kubat, who's having a solid night, but man, he's in danger of going a lap down as well. He's about just 5.5 seconds ahead of these 2 guys, just going at it as they go through the final turn and down the front stretch. Whitley doesn't slap the wall this time, gets through cleanly, but he isn't going to be close enough to his teammate to make that braking zone work, at least in this corner.
McWhorter takes 2 to go. He's got Mark Whitley breathing down his neck. He needs to make his gear changes and all work through these last 2 long laps as we got less than 5 miles to go at Watkins Glen.
I was just looking at chat. We were talking about Lucas Lyons and his foot cam, but somebody in chat was saying, Rusty Rafferty was saying, I'm just here for the feet. Well, I'm here for the racing, and we got a barn burner here for the last couple of laps. 2 to go. They head down into the bus stop with the lap car just ahead of them. I believe that is Doug Ellingson again. So they got Doug Ellingson, who's been letting these guys by. You can see Doug Ellingson's really slow on the pace there. Lets these guys by and let them racing out as we're about a lap and a half away from finishing this thing.
Yep, and the best thing you can do right now is get yourself into a position where you're not going to interfere with the guys that are coming through, especially if it's a lead battle like this, as we see McWhorter take it back down through turn 10, rotate, get on the curbs, roll through turn 11, back onto the front straightaway. Mark Whitley still in tow as we take the white flag. 1 lap to go at Watkins Glen.
McWhorter has been out front almost this entire race with the exception of Ryzen Baker, who was able to lead under pit strategy, but McWhorter is desperately trying to hold on to this as we go through the final sets of corners here on the final lap. Can Whitley get this done? He's been slapping that thing off the curbs, off the wall, off his teammate even.
He's got to run.
Yeah, he's got a run coming here down onto the backstretch, hitting the bus stop. We'll see what he does here.
Might try to take it all the way to the bottom here into the bus stop. Thinks better of it. Those two are able to rotate a little better going towards the outer loop. Whitley taking that inside line, super aggressive through the curbs, up to the back bumper, makes contact! Whitley sideways! McWhorter keeps it straight as they go through the exit of turn 5, back down to the back straightaway. It looks like that might have been Mark Whitley's last gasp. Joseph McWhorter pulls him down the back straightaway into turn 10, rotates the curbs, rotates through the corners, makes sure that he is keeping it solid and safe. No challenge from Whitley exiting turn 11 as Joseph McWhorter wins at the Glen.
What a race. His teammate just behind him will finish in second. Ryzen Baker is still way back there, almost over 30 seconds behind, trying to get that third spot. But congratulations to Joseph McWhorter. What a show, what performance, what a great job defending that position all night long from his teammate.
And you can see the evidence of it right there. That right side is beaten to hell on that 72 machine. Several times the 77 has made contact with him.
That was Whitley autographing that winner. So he wanted to autograph that 72 Camaro, and he did it. But, man, what a barn burner there at the end. I was surprised that both those guys held on to it. But that really cost Whitley, getting into the back of that car, upset Whitley more than it did his teammate, and that allowed McWhorter to dominate this thing.
Yes, sir. And once we get through our quick commercial break, we'll take you through our unofficial race results, the 72 Joseph McWhorter, and the rest of the podium getting through to the interviews as we watch him take another victory lap through the rest of the field here before he comes back onto the front stretch to burn them down.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. Invets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. Invets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about Invets, visit us at invets.org today.
We're back live at Watkins, Glen, with your unofficial results. As you saw it right here live, Joseph McWhorter takes this thing almost flag to flag, wins this race with his teammate just behind him in second. Ryzen Baker, with a great finish tonight, fought his way back after some adversity and a spin, and gets that third position. Duncan Faw with a great night in fourth, where he started. Lucas Lyons, the colorful sock man, will finish in fifth. Rob Kubat will finish sixth. Wesley Burke finishing 7th. Wesley Burke is the first car 1 lap down, so that's how this race went tonight. Brandon Wallace will finish in 8th, Jamie Lipke 9th, and Barrett Morton wraps out your top 10.
Craig Bontrager, after starting in 8th, finishes 11th. Kyle Deering in P12. Brock Price in P13. Daniel Parks 14th. Nick Reed taking home a top 15. Dave Calvert in 16th. Tyler Rice in 17th. Chuck Phelps finishes P18. Aaron Yancey in the 20 finishes 19th. And Wyatt Dooling rounds out your top 20.
Kevin Price finishes in 21st with Doug Ellingson finish in 22nd. Claire Sisk will finish 23rd with Scott Yancey behind her in 24th. Colton Sisk will finish 25th with Chad Ashley in 26th. Jonathan Cofield finishes 27th with Casey Jones in 28th. Stephen Davis was the last car to grid tonight, and he finishes in 29th.
Well, after all that, I think the last thing to do is bring our winner in. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
It is good to talk to you. I missed you last week, but one heck of a show put on between you and Whitley tonight. Did you think that it was going to kind of come down to a couple of love taps at the end there?
Yeah, but this is not our first time of me and Mark doing that. I swear, every time we're here in a league and it's us two, it's either him winning, me winning, winning, me winning. It's always back and forth. I knew I had to get him on the start, and I was actually just talking to him before this, and I was like, I wasn't even trying to jump the start. I was gonna try and make the move if it was there, but I got hit from behind and it like propelled me forward. And I'm like, well, if I got the run, I might as well.
Yep, saw you guys take it 3 wide at the start there. The pit cycle was a big point there. We saw you and Whitley again barely make it to a drag race when it came out there. Ryzen Baker was the driver that finished in third. Just in case you didn't see anybody in your mirror, they had come through and taken away the perfect race for you with that lead lap in the middle. Did you think that you two were gonna maybe like swap a little bit or like get some extra points with the lead laps, or what was your strategy coming in?
uh, do everything in my absolute possibility to put that 74 behind, or is his number 77 now? I forgot he changed it, but to do everything I could to get that 77 behind me, because I knew it's almost impossible for me to get around him when he leads, and it's basically the same thing. So it's whoever gets the lead first tends to win between us two. So I knew I had to get it immediately, and I was surprised when he came down pit road, like you touched on. I was a little bit surprised by him coming down at the same time I did, and he gave me a little shot going into pit road. I almost sped whenever he hit me, but luckily was able to get down. I thought for sure he'd probably go 1 lap before me or 1 lap after me, but it kind of caught me off guard because that's normally how it goes. But he actually pitted at the same time, so yeah, it was good drag race. I took less fuel. I think that's what helped me. I didn't have to wait on the can, so I just as soon as it dropped the right size, I took off. So I think that's what really made the difference there on pit road.
Yep, it's just a fun day at the races for you two. Finally, who do you have to thank for putting you on the top step of the podium?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank Outlier Speed Co. Not only a partner of me, but you guys over at V Speed. So go down in the description below. Check out Outlier Speed Co. in the description. Go get your race setups. We've been super fast. We've got a good setup this week for the Roval. So go check them out. You guys for putting on the broadcast. Red Camel Racing, amazing partner of mine. Any of the stuff that you need for real life racing, go check them out at redcamelracing.com. Fire shoot shoes, helmets, anything you need, they've got it. 29 Graphics, go check them out on Trading Paints 29 Graphics. Driven Motorsports, all my teammates, Mark, all the drivers. Who else am I forgetting? The admins for the hard work and ready to get into the next week and see if maybe we can't go 3 in a row.
Yes, sir. Back to back for Joseph McWhorter. Thank you for your time. We'll see you at Charlotte.
All right. Well, I guess we should talk to our second place finisher, Mark Whitley. The Ken Huber in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hey, so we watched you all race trying to wear out your teammate of McWhorter. You're still looking for that first race win of the season. Tell us what your thought process is and why did you spend so much time on the rear bumper of that car in front of you?
Oh yeah, I just he got a really good jump on the start. Was able to get up under me. We were 3 wide on the beginning, and I had to back out of it. And then through the bus stop, I went off track and had a slow down penalty. And had to get back to him. And I think on raw speed, I was maybe a little bit faster than him, but this track is very when you're that close on speed, it's really hard to find places to pass because it's like there's passing opportunities, but like where I was faster than him, it wasn't really conducive to a good way to pass
Yeah.
him. So I kept trying different ways, hoping he'd make a mistake, and then I was hoping some of the lap cards would get us all bunched up, and they did. It just I could never really take advantage of it. And last lap there, I got a little desperate. I tried to get through the. I knew I was getting through the bus stop better. I wanted to get right up on his back bumper. I didn't get quite as close as I want to, so I had to kind of gas it up more to give him a little bump there, trying to give him a bump and run. I think I just messed myself up more than anything. So it was
Yeah,
just
that
kind
was
of last ditch,
definitely a
just the
close call
last,
there at the end. So,
just the last ditch. Had to try something. And uh, like I said, if I'd been a tiny bit closer, it might have been a little bit better for me, but just a little bit too far back. And I feel like a first win's going to eventually come. I thought tonight would be a very good chance for it, but just wasn't meant to be, I guess.
hey, real quick, I got a question for you on tires. So, how were the tires after 20 laps? Because we've seen some guys, the third place Ryzen Baker, stay out quite a bit longer than you guys. But how was the tire fade tonight?
There definitely was, especially as hard as me and him were pushing it. It's definitely toward the end of the run, the rears, if you were getting on the gas too hard, you're dirt tracking in the corner, out of the corner, through the middle. I mean, it was just like throttle control, and they definitely wore out. Not as bad as I've had in the past. Like I've been on some that like you wouldn't have been able to put any power down, so they weren't too bad, but it was still a little sketchy there toward the end of the run.
Well, great run getting that second place finish. I'm sure the win will eventually come. Who do you have to thank for getting you this second place finish tonight?
Yeah, first and foremost, Brantley over at Harpoon Design. He designs all my paint jobs. He spots for me every night. Appreciate him. Check him out at harpoondesign.com. Other sponsor, Jawa.gg. They're the number one online gaming marketplace for gamers by gamers. No scalpers allowed. You name it, best buyer and seller protections in the business. So check them out at Jawa.gg for your next upgrade or PC. All the league sponsors here: Jam Printing Promotions, B Speed, you guys, Alexander PCs, Lincoln Tech, Glove Station, all the ones that make this league possible. All the fans tuning in. Vector over there at Harpoon Chat, tune in. Appreciate him. Just all the people that make this league go around like it does.
All right. Well, thank you, Mark, and we'll see what you do next week.
Sounds good.
Yes, and last but not least, we'll talk to our third place finisher, Ryzen Baker. This is Jake Lanky in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
We saw you toward the end of that race. We were we're focused primarily on the top two because they were within half a second of each other. We saw you rolling, trying to make your run last as long as you could. Ended up taking that stop and go through the bus stop and fighting with Lucas Lyons. That was a highlight
Yeah.
for us here. Take us through that.
Yeah, start of the race, did not expect to get as good of a jump as I got. I was surprised I qualified second. I expected third after the practice. Like those two, Joseph and Mark, were so strong through practice and obviously the entire race. Um, yeah, so I thought I had something, but over time, Mark just got by me through the bus stop there. I had to serve like a 1.5 second penalty or something, so that's cleared him to go catch leaders, and so I had to work from there. Obviously, so much faster, dominant performance from them. That stop and go, I guess I expected them to be battling, and so they broke a little bit later, but they actually broke earlier, which I should have thought of, but I didn't. So it was either turn in and probably get in the wall somewhere, overshoot it, have to serve a penalty anyway, or just keep my car clean and goes forward. So I decided to wait up. Didn't expect Lucas to get by me, but I knew I was faster, so I just had to execute there. There was some rubbing for that race, so I had a lot of fun with that battle, a lot of fun with the battle for Mark. But man, such a good start for Joseph there, just clearing both of us out of turn one to the S's straight right off the bat of the race.
Yep, good showing for you in P3 and a good race overall for a lot of y'all. Who do you have to thank for putting you on the podium?
Thanks for Baker Racing. My team, family does it in real life out on the local dirt track, so awesome to be a part of them in the sim. Thanks for Merritt Speedway, again, one of my home tracks that we run at for sponsoring my car, putting us out there. Thanks to iRacing, MK Fire Design, Invets for sponsoring the series, and you guys out in V Speed. You guys put on awesome broadcasts, super professional, super entertaining to watch. So, yeah.
All right. Hell of a job tonight. Thank you for your time. We'll see you at Charlotte.
Thank you very much.
Well, Jacob, that was our podium finishers. Looking forward to what the rest of the season brings. Next week we're at Charlotte, the classic oval. Really looking forward to that one.
Yes, sir. It is going to be putting on a lot. It's going to be putting on a show for sure. Charlotte's going to definitely warrant some bumping and banging, especially with the guys trying to make some headway on the top two points leaders.
I agree. Well, I'm Ken Huber.
I'm Jacob Lanke.
There it is. There, he's back. He's back. And Eddie Smith on production, and we got Dougie Beard on cameras. What an exciting race. Looking forward to seeing you guys here all next week, next Sunday night at Charlotte. Good night, everyone.